And now, please welcome Shelley DODSON, the director of The Dancing Line. Good morning, Shelley. Shelley, it's hard to believe that you woke up one morning and say to yourself, I'll make a film with a line doing a striptease.
Yes. So I guess I talk about what it was inspired by?
Yep.
Okay. Part of it is inspired by many different things. So over the last several years, I've learned more about visual design. And then coupling that with animation, going back to animation principles, so how to create weight, but also how to communicate really specific information about how, just based on how the object moves. So gender, is it flexible, is it rigid, male, female, is it sensual, how does it feel based on how it moves? There's a website called Biomotion Lab. They have a study, it's an interactive study that they captured information to demonstrate those ideas, just how the subject moves, communicates, is it anxious, is it happy, what kind of emotion does it have? And it's also a little bit inspired by, I took an art history class and we talked about censorship in the former Soviet Union and the United States. So learning, I don't remember which artists, but some artists had to come up with their own code, their visual code to communicate their ideas to kind of get around the censors. So I was just kind of thinking about, wow, that's interesting. What if you wanted to communicate something kind of sexual, but not, literal or over the top? It was kind of like, yeah, it's just a dancing line. It's nothing, but underneath it kind of is a little bit more subversive.
Subversive, yeah.
So.
Did you animate on the music?
Yes. So I imported it into Flash, which is now Adobe Animate, and then I used that to synchronize the moves with the music. So it's very, very inspiring. It was really, really joyful and very fun. I had so much fun just making it.
There's a Canadian filmmaker who, 40 years ago, made a film where there was a triangle and a circle, and he's not famous at all, but the film is quite interesting because he did a sequence with these two abstract characters and tried 3 different music on it, and it suggests very different feelings depending on the music that was on it. I'm telling you this because the striptease is very, very obvious in the film when we watch it. And I said to myself the first time, okay, if there's no music, do I felt the same thing? Did you try this?
I tried it sometimes just to check the movement as I was animating, but it definitely just was like, oh, it's a moving line without music. But it's very, very important to have the music as part of the exciting experience. Yeah.
As a filmmaker, would you do more abstract work than narrative work, or because your film is so in between the two?
This is my first time doing a more abstract piece. I tend to do mostly more figurative and narrative pieces. My work kind of swings quite a bit. My other work is very, very, very different from this piece. So it was really fun I really enjoy creative challenges, and also just trying very different things. It's really like, what's new, what's next, what else am I interested in, and how am I interested in creating it? So.
Something that works very well in the film is the fact that you can imagine the very precise movement of a human body. At some point, you really feel that the line is a she first, and you really feel that she take a piece of cloth or something like that. So did you do some research? Did you look at exotic dancers, burlesque, things like that?
Yeah, I think I looked at Michelle Lemore. She's an American burlesque dancer, Vida Von Teese as well. But I also I think when you do something abstract, it still has a form and a structure. It's not just whatever, you know. And I think having more of a figurative study of watching, I mean, I love, not in a creepy way, but watching people, you know, and just looking at, you can see someone from 100 meters away and you can tell who it is by how they walk, you know, and how different people move, a child versus an adult. And I think that having that foundation to be able to translate that into something abstract was an interesting, I don't know, I think that's an important foundation. Is you always want to look at, it's about observing from life and then figuring out how to translate it rather than copy it literally. And that was really important and really fun for me.
Questions from the audience? Yes, sir.
My question is, you said you made this film to test out the movements and different principles. It sounds very serious to me, but I found your film very humorous film. Is that also your purpose, or was that only me?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah, maybe not. Yes.
I don't know why, but I just found it very funny, from the beginning to the end.
Yeah, I think for me, just going off of that, on some maybe in the background or on subconscious level, making it. I think for me in my work, if there's a contrast, something's funny because there's a contrast to it,
Okay.
right? If it's like there's a lead up to it, or there's a sense of a subtle aspect that provokes the audience to see that little kernel of humor, and so I think that's also a part of it, but also a part of some of my other work.
Okay.
Yes.
And by the end, the lion starting to do some movement, which is not really a human body movement anymore. It is more like it's very exaggerated, and it has this 3D feeling in it. Why is that?
I think along the way, it was a little bit of a stream of consciousness, just sort of trying to come up with, okay, what can I do next that will keep it going and keep it dynamic and keep the audience's interest. And then I thought, wow, you know, I've also revisiting animation, but also revisiting 2D illustration and painting principles. So how do you create the illusion of three-dimensional space in a two-dimensional medium? So I thought, oh, what if I introduce the illusion of depth through those drawing principles? So as the object gets farther away, it becomes smaller, right? And it also changes speed. So if it's closer to you, it seems faster. The farther away it is, it seems slower. So I was like, wow, that would be kind of like a mini climactic point to introduce. That would be really fun, I think, to see.
Thank you very much, Shelley DODSON. Would you draw a line?